When I was growing up, I was very interested in science. And as part of my explorations into various aspects of science, I came across neurobiology. That led me in college to develop my own major, which involved the cell biology and sort of neurophysiologic processes that underlie consciousness. From that, I became interested in psychiatry and what that field might be like.
I'm a child and adult psychiatrist. My practice is primarily working with younger children up through the teens, as well as some adults. I do therapy as well as medication management. And because of my background in neurobiology, I tend to work with cases that are complex and often have a neuropsychiatric component.
When I started my adult psychiatry training at UCLA, I was exposed to working with children and found that very interesting. And because of the additional complexities of working with a younger population, I was drawn to that and ended up specializing in child psychiatry. I suppose it's sort of a multifaceted concept. On the one hand, I define my success by how others see me and define me. If others see the work that I do as being good, that's very rewarding. I also work very hard to do the best I can and to stay aware of developments in the field and to try to develop my own skills and understanding in a sort of ongoing fashion. And I consider that effort to be part of what it means to be a successful clinician. I think the practice developed in part because I trained in this community and through that process met many of the clinicians who are practicing here. That's one of the sources of my referrals, and I think, of course, if you're not doing good work, then you don't grow a practice. So part of it is to do good work. Communication, I also think, is very important. Making sure that the people you're working with, whether it's the patients or their families or other professionals, feel that you're accessible and that you're involved in a collaborative relationship for their well-being. I think being very thoughtful about what people are looking for and what their specific needs are from their perspective and taking that into account, being empathic to what the person sitting in front of me is considering to be the larger issue that they're facing, rather than perhaps sticking to a more rigid or categorical way of assessing and dealing with clinical issues may in part set me a little bit apart from other people. The relationships with other professionals, whether it be through community outreach, and giving back and volunteering time, or whether it be joining and participating in organizations that are part of the psychiatric community, or doing other types of community outreach so that you're able to contribute some of your knowledge and expertise to other causes and other organizations that are seeking to improve the well-being of the community has been a significant part of how my practice has grown. In several ways. I teach the clinical skills class for the UCLA Child Fellowship. I'm a member of the Southern California Psychiatric Society and sit on their board. I've sat on boards of UCLA and the YMCA in terms of trying to do outreach and provide a mental health facet to those organizations' work and endeavors. Things that's the gist of the kinds of things that I do. I also do some supervising and mentoring in the community, and have been involved in various research projects as well that helps me to stay sort of in contact with people who are on the leading edge of the psychiatric research community. Focus on the 4 A's of success. Be amiable, be affordable, be available, and be able to do what you say you can do. I think if people see that they have the financial security to move from a more stable paycheck to a private practice, that is one important part of it. If possible, being able to slowly reduce the amount of time spent at the quote-unquote day job and build up the private practice hours slowly over time as the referrals build and the practice builds, it makes it more secure to step away from a day-to-day job. That's a good question. I think the one of the tricks is to be objective. Plan out time for family and for hobbies and other activities that you either find rewarding or know will be beneficial to you and your family, and schedule that. If it's in the schedule, then it makes it much easier to honor those commitments and not get swept up in the day-to-day work of the practice.